I'm Jamie, and welcome to your Inner Monster Kit sewing tutorial. With your bag of fun fur and buttons and a little bit of talent, maybe 15 minutes to an hour, you will be able to create your very own inner monster. Your inner monster is a powerful tool for expression. Perhaps as a gift for someone else who needs to express their inner monster. Maybe it's just for you. Maybe it's so you can find out how you feel about things. Or maybe it's so you can tell others how you actually feel.
I'm really jealous because you're so pretty. How'd you get to be so pretty?
All of this is possible once you get your inner monster kit in the mail. So let's open it up and see what's inside. All right, here's your monster pack. What you have inside is a thick felt mouth plate. This is the back and front of your monster. This pair of scissors, you got to grab some of those from home. Those aren't in your pack. But this little sewing kit has a needle in it. It has some eyes and a nose and some colorful threads. This is your teeth. This is a thread to sew the whole thing. And your inner monster kit label, which you can hang up anywhere you want. Frame it.
I don't want to do my homework.
Right, so step one is to lay it out. So you take your monster and you take it and you flip it over so it's just one half. And then you take your eyes and your nose and you start placing them. And this is where you got to use your instincts to find your inner monster. What does it look like? Does it have really close together eyes or far apart or crooked? And then what kind of teeth will it have? Will it have teeth that are round or pointy or zigzag, just like the pattern I have here? You can be quite creative in this part, so really, get in touch with that inner monster. The next step is to cut your teeth and to cut your mouth. Now, to cut the mouth, you can actually use the teeth as a ruler. This is actually a perfect half of this circle. It's one half because this little cut you're going to do for the mouth has to fit that whole mouth. So, I'm going to put this here, make a little mark, snip it. When you snip it, try to just snip it with the ends of your scissors, and that way, when you're cutting, you won't cut the fun fur, because look, if I took big cuts, it'll just cut all the fuzz of the fun fur, and you'll have little clipped ends. So just use little snips at the end of your scissors. Don't make it all the way to the end. And there you have a mouth. And then you're going to cut your teeth. Now you can do this any way you want. See how I have those zigzags there, but when you actually see the teeth on the outside, they'll be yellow, so it doesn't really matter. But what you do want to do is use the ends of your scissors. And the reason for that is because you want to try to keep both rows of teeth in one piece, because we're going to actually sew those in at the same time as we sew the mouth in. So the way to do a zigzag is to find a sharp pair of scissors so the tip's so sharp that it cuts evenly, but not too much. Nothing has to be exact. You could even make round teeth. Or maybe you don't want the teeth to go all the way and you just want the teeth to be this far. You can just stop. Throw that away and say, ha, that's perfect. That's all the teeth I want. Step 3 is threading a needle. In your kit, you're going to get this little package. So you're going to open up that package and pull out the colorful little thread thing. Snip the plastic. And then inside, there's a few things you don't need, like buttons and safety pins, but there's a needle in there. So take that needle, and then you take your thread, And to remove that thread from the package at first, you might just use your needle to pick it out. And then you have the end of your thread. I like to just quick fingers like that, and then go like this so that all the fuzzy bits get all kind of matted down. And you take a pair of scissors and you cut a nice clean bit. Then you hold that thread as close as you can to the end so it doesn't bend too much while you do this. And you're going to almost press your needle on top. So you take your needle and your little hoop, make sure it's perpendicular to the thread, and then you press down and the thread pops through. And then carefully, once you get enough through, grab it, pinch it, and pull it all the way. So what you have is a double thread. Now I'm going to teach you a really simple trick for making a knot. You wrap the thread around your finger so it doubles up on itself, and then you roll it off your finger like this. And what you'll have is a little tangled loop of thread. But if you pull down and pinch on that, it turns into a knot. And then you have a threaded needle. So, now you're about to get to the most challenging part. You're going to sew the teeth and the palette and the fun fur all together, okay? And you're going to sew it all at once. So, it's going to take a little bit of placement. It's going to take looking at your puppet back and forth because you're actually sewing it all from the back. And that way you don't see the threads when you turn it around and see the front of your puppet.
Oh!
So, what you do is you place it down and you take your teeth and you place them the way you want to place them. But this is kind of funny. You're actually going to flip the teeth up so that you're sewing the teeth to the fun fur kind of upside down. And then, I guess it's best if you just see the palette's going to also go upside down. So we're going to sew all the way along and sew all 3 layers together. And then sometimes we're just going to be sewing the palette against the fun fur, and then we're going to start sewing the bottom row of teeth the same way. So just follow along here. It's just maybe 2 or 3 millimeters from the edge of the fabric. Make all 3 layers of the fabric as flush as you can. Flush means they're all on the same level. And then always be tidying up as you sew along, making sure that the fun fur is on the outside of your monster and you're not kind of sewing these messy fun fur bits. You can sometimes fix it up with your needle, you can sometimes fix it up with your fingers, but a nice tidy thread line will really do you favors in the end. And pull it taut. And then just a few millimeters over, you're going a few millimeters down from the edge on both sides, and you're going a few millimeters over from your last stitch, like so. Ta-da! A few millimeters over. Ta-da! Now, you've only done 2 threads, but it's almost worth just having a look. What will this look like? Oh, the teeth will be perfect, and the mouth will be perfect. So that's how you know. And then you can confidently continue. We're getting close to the bottom jaw now, but I'm almost out of thread. So I'm going to tie a knot now. So this is how you tie off your thread. You put it through, and then before you pull that loop all the way, you put your needle through the loop. And then you put it in through the loop the same direction, and then you do that one more time, and then pull it tight, and that's a knot. We've sewn all around here, but now we're going to sew the teeth, and we're going to do this half. So you take your other row of teeth, and you do the same thing. You place them against the fur, the nice side of your teeth that you want to be seen gets placed against the nice side of the fun fur that you want to be seen. So the 2 ugly back sides, that's what you're kind of sewing together at the same time, as well as the palette. Looks just like that. Be patient. You're working with millimeters here. The tighter your threads, the better it'll look. now that I've sewn the entire mouth, I just snip this thread. And how did it turn out? Ooh, pretty good. You might have to fiddle with things a little bit, but it looks pretty good. The next step is to put the back to the front. And you've already learned how to sew, so this is pretty easy. But the same thing, you're going to sandwich the two nice sides together. I prefer to start from the top down, the top middle, and go down, because that way, if you start from one end, sometimes it'll all kind of get a little bit messed up because the fabric stretches at different times. So start at the most important part, which is the top and the middle. Now this is a time that maybe you want to get a podcast or put on some music, because this will take a little while. Could take 15-20 minutes of sewing, so you might want to entertain yourself. Here we have the final knot. We're coming around the edge, coming to the end. Dum da 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 dum da 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 dum da da da. Go through the loop 3 times. 1, 2, 3. We cut off our thread, and this is what it'll look like from the inside. That's your monster from the inside, but this is the fun part. Unless you've had a look along the way, you turn it inside to the right side, and you have the monster! Hee hee! Pretty cute one.
This guy over here is giving me a hand.
So, this is the fun part. You're going to look at your face once again and figure out where you want your eyes and nose to go. Maybe they look funny when they're really close to the mouth down here. Maybe they look funny up here. Maybe they look funny like that. And then where do you want to put your nose? Does it go down close like that? Or is the nose nice way up here? Or maybe they're really wide like that. Lots of fun things you can do. And then once you decide, I'm going to put mine close. This is a little trick. You can either remember by looking at where it is in the mouth, or you can stick a little pin through with the head on it, and then you can sort of see, oh, I want the nose to be right there. And this will help you because it does get confusing when you go like this. But now when you turn it inside out, carefully, because there's pins in there. Now, what you're going to do is carefully take those pins out, and then one at a time make little snips. These are tiny little snips. Let's get a really close look at this. See? I'm going to pinch the fabric like this. You might want to make this smallest little snip. Just like that. That'll probably be big enough there. And then let's see if the nose will fit through that little hole. You take your nose and you put it through. You're going to poke it through. Like so. Ta-da! There it is. Now this backing goes like that. You got to push it past so that it makes that go like that. If you really wanted to go far, you could sand that down or even snip up that little sharp part. Which I think I'm going to do that. So here's a nice little trick. You just snip off that sharp edge. It's a little bit crooked, but you know what? I don't care. It's a monster. He's going to look even funnier that way. Now, when you pull him inside out, you get to see what it looks like. Pretty cute. He's got pretty cute eyes, pretty cute nose, but you know what? Now we're in for the final step. Oh, and that's trimming the fun fur. We want to trim it so that it just kind of looks better. Because the eyes are so little and the nose is so little, you want to just kind of trim the fur all around the eyes. Maybe you want to trim some of the fur around the teeth. Maybe you want to clean up. Maybe you want to snip off a whole tooth. You just take a tooth and snip it off because it's not it's not, it's sticking in a funny way, or maybe you have too many teeth. Sometimes it's cute to just have like 2 teeth. There, like that. And as you trim it, you're going to find that the face just looks better and better. So don't be afraid to, leave a little extra tuft at the top, but, especially clear it out around the nose and eyes so you can really see them. And once you're done the trimming, you are actually done making your inner monster puppet. The next step is learning to puppeteer.
Nah!
All right, this is how you perform your inner monster. It comes from here. It moves through the core of your body, around your shoulder, around the elbow, out here, and then